This movie has a lot of singing.
I dreamed a dream in time gone by, when hope was high, life worth living. I dreamed that love would never die. I dreamed that God would be forgiving. But the tigers come at night, with their voices soft as thunder.
Les Miserables. Now, no, I'm not going to do the whole review singing, no. But I have to say, 95% or 99% of this movie is singing. Very little is spoken, and when I see musicals, I usually like to have them where there's like a break in between the song and you have a little bit of speaking, and then we go to the next song, so we can actually identify the end of one song and the beginning of another. There's like no way to identify where one song ends and the other song begins, unless you're listening to the instrumental of the song, and then you're able to hear like the last note and where then the next note begins that sounds entirely different from the last one. Talk about our actors and our plot here. So this movie is directed by Tom Hooper, who directed The King's Speech. That was a great movie. This one is an excellent movie as well. And it's written by a great classical writer, Victor Hugo. Hugh Jackman as Jean Valjean. I apologize if I can't get these names right. Russell Crowe is Valverde. Yeah, Anne Hathaway is Fantine. Okay, that name I got right. That was easy. Amanda Seyfried is Cosette, or adult Cosette when she reaches like 20 years old. She's the adult version of Anne Hathaway's daughter. Yeah, Sacha Baron Cohen is in the movie as Thénardier. He's kind of like the guy that runs the home where little Cosette is living. Helen Bonham Carter is Madame Thénardier, who is the woman that runs the home. Eddie Redmayne is in the movie as Marius. He's very good in the movie. Samantha Barks is in this as Ephraim. I called her Ebony because that's what the name sounded like watching the movie. She's the adult version of the Helen Bonham Carter's daughter. And we got a couple of little kids here that were great in the movie as well. Daniel Huddleston plays Gervasi. He was great in the movie. Perhaps a little too courageous, but he was very good. Young little Cosette, Isabel Allen. She was very good in the movie too. And little Ebony, as I like to call her, Epiphany. Natalia Angel Wallace. She was pretty good in the movie too. The singing is great, except for Russell Crowe. He's a little bit off when he sings. And I've heard from a couple critics his acting is a little bad too, but I thought his acting was pretty good in the movie. And let's talk about the plot here. So Hugh Jackman is Jean Valjean, and he is a criminal. He stole a loaf of bread to give to his sister, and he gets caught, arrested for the crime, and is convicted and is forced to a life of slavery for some odd time, and then under the oppression of Javert. And when he finally gets his freedom, breaks parole, becomes an honest man. Yeah, that was another thing that's wrong with this movie, is that time goes by pretty quickly in this movie. Not movie time, not time as far as you're watching a lot, because it did feel like a drag when I was watching it, but periods of time within the movie itself went by pretty quickly, and you almost felt like there was not much transition in between each period of time. 5 years would go by, and then later on years or 10 years and so forth. And we're like, how come there was no transition in between to help you feel the time period? And the camera shots were great, but at other times there was like shaky cam and you couldn't tell what was going on. I hated that. I mean, just use a steady camera. Enough with the, ooh, let's use shaky cam and shake it all around and make it hard for people to see. Like, just enough with that. When he becomes an honest man, he meets up with Anne Hathaway's character, Fantine, who is working in a textile factory. And she's working to keep her daughter alive, and she gets fired and is forced into becoming a prostitute. And he ends up helping her out and agrees to become a father figure for her daughter, Cosette, which is very sweet, and I love that. Although I think his character is a little too honest. There's one point in the movie where he does something that is surprisingly way too honest to me, and that puts him back on the run. And I'm just wondering, why are you doing that if you're not on the run anymore, and now you're putting yourself in a position when you're back on the run? Like, why did you do that? I don't understand that. Or there's another point in the movie where he's showing somebody compassion that would never show him compassion, instead of taking the opportunity to stand up to this guy and get rid of him. I found that kind of odd, but I understood that's how it probably is in the actual source material. So I'll let that pass a little bit. I think of all the actors, like Anne Hathaway and Hugh Jackman were the best. Anne Hathaway is probably the best in singing. I think her song, I Have a Dream, will probably be like nominated for best song. So I'll give this movie a 9 out of 10. I thought it was an excellent musical, and considering we've had like 3 or 4 musicals this year. Number 3 would be Pitch Perfect, number 2 would be Rock of Ages, and number 1 would be this musical. Yeah, definitely, if you're a fan of musicals, I definitely recommend Les Miserables. But if you don't like really long movies, you may not like this movie.
Life has killed a dream.